Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to my channel. My name is Troy, where pretty much I talk about anything that I find interesting. Welcome if you're new here, and welcome back if you already know what's going on. So y'all can see by the topic of today's title, we're going to be talking about the Wendy Williams interview that she did with the Breakfast Club on January 16th.
In a conservatorship, if you don't know what a conservatorship is, it's when someone is in charge of making decisions on your behalf, but usually because the conservatee is not able to make decisions for themselves. Wendy can make her own decisions. She is not cognitively impaired. She is not incapacitated. She is being taken advantage of.
Right.
Wendy, tell us what's going on.
First of all, to start with, my niece Alex knows a lot as well, but I am not cognitively impaired, you know what I'm saying? No, but I feel like I am in prison. You understand what I'm saying? I'm in New York City, right? And Alex, you know exactly what you're talking about. You flew from Miami to New York, and you were right here with me. Go ahead.
She's there in New York, in this place, essentially like what some would call a luxury prison. This is her room. That's literally her apartment. But the thing about this apartment, and you know this, not Wendy, because you're there, it's small. She has a bed, a chair, a TV, a bathroom, and she's looking out one window.
And, excuse me, through my money, I had this person buy the TV, the kind of TV I like, through this person, because all of my stuff is in storage. You understand what I'm saying? Everything's in storage. And by the way, that was to sell my apartment. But anyway.
Is the person your guardian? Is that who you're referring to, your guardian?
Yes.
Well, Sabrina Morrissey is her name. A&E Network and Lifetime were sued by Sabrina. She claims they exploited you in a vulnerable state. They exploited your condition, and I'm putting condition in air quotes. You signed to do that documentary without your consent, but A&E and Lifetime countersued and said that Sabrina realized the documentary would question the quality of her own guardianship. It actually says in the lawsuit, it appears that Morrissey is misusing her position as a guardian of Williams to silence criticism of her controversial and failed administration of the guardianship. They even used the words guardianship abuse. What do you think of that?
So Wendy Williams broke the internet by getting on a Breakfast Club interview and basically blasting her conservatorship situation, saying that she feels like that she's being abused, and also shining light into her daily situation. Wendy Williams, who is 60 years old, recently went on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne Tha God, DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, and they also had a guest host, Lauren Lorenzo. We haven't really seen Wendy Williams recently outside of the Sham documentary that was dropped, I believe, earlier last year or the year before. Most people would consider this one of her most highly publicized appearances recently, since she abruptly left her 14th season show in 2022. So when she left back in 2022, the show tried to do different guests. They had like different hosts, whatever, like come and do a week of the show, but it never really gave what Wendy gave. I remember watching during that time, and a lot of people at least wanted Wendy to come back and kind of do a send-off show or like a finale, because she had left so abruptly, similar to Ellen when Ellen had, her whole thing going on, and then that came to a crumble and her show stopped. At least Ellen was able to kind of give a goodbye and do a last show. People wanted that for Wendy, but unfortunately it never happened, and season 15 was never picked up. Then we have not seen Wendy Williams back in that purple chair. And so back in 2022, it was being reported that Wendy Williams was having a lot of health-related issues and then COVID-related issues. And even before she had abruptly left, there was also, I think it was maybe during a Halloween episode, because she was dressed up as Lady Liberty, that had went viral of her basically having a medical emergency on camera.
Out live on air.
It's time for our How You Doing Halloween costume contest. We do it every year. It's always a lot of fun. Let's get started. Our first caress.
A lot of people, like I said, didn't feel bad for her when that happened, as well as when she was going through what she was going through when she had abruptly left because of the line of work that she does. Whether it be through radio or whether it was on daytime TV, Wendy was known for spilling the tea, not caring about how that tea being out affected the people that was involved in that tea, and getting all in the business, just all the good stuff. How you doing? When she was going through this, a lot of people didn't feel bad for her because they felt that it was karma for just all of the heartbreak and negative energy that she had put out there over the years. Even though it was her job, and even though the audience kept coming back day after day to sit there and ask Wendy, how you doing?
Clock that T. Clock it. Clock that T. Clock it. Clock that T.
Once the spotlight was now on Wendy, and Wendy's life was in shambles when it came to her husband, Kevin Hunter, cheating on her with another woman, and then subsequently having a baby, and then them getting divorced, and him, kind of trying to take a piece of that Wendy empire and take that with him to then support this new family.
Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn.
As well as, alleged heavy drug and alcohol abuse. Again, everybody wanted to be nosy. Everybody wanted the tea. There was a clip of her where she ended up breaking down in the back of a van with the camera on her. She was crying and basically saying, I would ask for y'all sympathy, but I'm Wendy, I do the hot topics. So of course not, y'all don't care. And that was honestly one of the realest things I feel like that she said, during that era, because she has enough wherewithal to kind of know that it's just, a bad situation all around, because you are going through it right now, and like I said, you are the #1 reporter when other people are going through it and have been going through it.
I would ask you to respect our privacy, but please, I don't respect people's privacy. That's why I do the hot topics.
Even during that time when she was going through it, a lot of people were likening it back to when her and Whitney were having their spats back in the late 90s, early 2000s. A lot of times when Wendy was trying to pull out salacious details or try to get Whitney to confirm salacious things like habits and drugs like that was going on back then in the day. Where, Whitney famously wrapped Wendy up about keeping her name in her mouth.
You know that this is something I think is good. This is a good Whitney thing. You like it, you approve. Yay, Whitney approve. Oh, Whitney, please. Listen, they were saying that you cut your mother's, you don't know what the allowance.
For me, I've always loved Wendy Williams. When I was a child and I went to daycare, my auntie's daycare, and my auntie used to have Wendy Williams on. Used to come on at like 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I would sit down and watch Wendy Williams, but as I got older, I wasn't watching it as often, but I can say that during COVID, and even maybe like a little bit before that, 2019, I have started back watching it, and I was unfortunate enough to be able to kind of see the downfall, as well as the discourse around Wendy Williams, and then also the commotion of whether or not she was gonna come back, and when. It was a very big when and if. And so since that decline, we haven't heard, like I said, a lot from her outside of that sham documentary by Lifetime. Like I said, a lot of times, any type of Lifetime documentary, I always look at them sideways just because of the motive behind the making of these stories and what they're trying to portray to the media. Like I said, a lot of times everything is propaganda. So you definitely, have to look at things with a fine-tooth comb. What ended up happening after that documentary came out, was that conservatorship or a 360 deal, like how they've locked the artists, and the artists, they feel trapped when it comes to music, but in a conservatorship, have somebody else controlling her finances, but also got somebody controlling where she stays, controlling her communications, being able to even decide whether or not she's able to have pets. Every so often, we might hear something from the tabloids, usually coming from Kevin, trying to, get some more money, or saying that he's broke and he needs more money, whatever the case may be, trying to get access to Wendy's money. But considering that Wendy doesn't have access to Wendy's money, I'm pretty sure nothing has really come of those situations. So again, during this commotion, Wells Fargo's name was being brought up because they were freezing her account after she was claiming possible mismanagement by the bank themselves. So basically, Wendy had said, I need to, look at my accounts and stuff like that, because I don't know if all my money is being managed correctly by y'all, Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo said, actually, you are not of sound mind, you have dementia. You are not able to access your accounts. We're actually gonna place somebody, a white woman, Sabrina Morrissey, to be able to control your finances, let you know what you can and can't eat today, let you know how much money you can have or what you can and can't buy, how much money you can have for the day, give you an allowance, and also cut off other people that are also depending on you, i.e. Kevin Jr., her son, cut him off from the money as well. And so to me, it seems very convenient that that documentary came out to, like I said, paint this public narrative that Wendy's crazy, she's not of sound mind, and to be able to kind of lock her into this medical system. And for all my 2000 girls, it very much so reminds us of the Britney Spears situation, who was recently able to escape her own conservatorship that she was in for a very long time.
There's more. Leave her alone. You're lucky she even performed for you bastards! Leave Britney alone!
With Wendy Williams, she also had brought her niece on the line to help her tell her story. Considering that there are still some legal issues happening, when you do get older, it is sometimes best to kind of have that second person there to be able to really drive home the main points that you're trying to communicate. At first, the Breakfast Club, just how they introduced it and just really the way that they were coming, they were very much so trying to drive home the fact that Wendy is not cognitively disabled. I had felt that if Wendy was of sound mind, then she should have been able to get on the mic by herself, tell us of the abuse and the transgressions and the misgressions of what has happened. We're listening more and more to what both of them have to say. I realized that this has been Wendy's hell for the last 3 years, and that so much is happening. So much has happened, just little things that she was mentioning to where, to anybody it does sound like she could be rambling or kind of going all over the place. But yet again, when you're living this reality 24 hours a day for the last 3 years, there is so much that you're trying to tell and convey and so many different feelings. You're trying to get out all this information within this short 30-minute radio clip.
This is crazy.
I definitely felt that it was good that the niece was there to really get out the information that brought them on the show in the first place. When it comes to, like I said, whether or not Wendy Williams is in her sound mind, it sounded to me that the woman was of sound mind on the phone personally when she was doing that interview. As people get older, there is, cognitive decline. Listening to Wendy talk, even when she was going all over the place, she definitely reminds me of some of my family members that are older, and at this point of their life, they have complete control of their life. They don't have conservatorships. They are able and cognizant to live their life, pay their bills.
Yeah. What you out here being messy for?
I do think that during the time that we had seen the documentary, and also when she was going through the addiction and the abuse of the drugs, and then also having to deal with the breakup of her marriage, I do think that she was in a very different headspace that can really be detrimental to anybody's health.
Clock that T. Clock it. Clock that T. Clock it. Clock that T.
I do think that she's more cognitive, she's in a better space now to where a lot of the restrictions that Wells Fargo and these people have been able to place on her through the court is considered excessive, would be considered abusive, would be considered mismanagement, and even predatory.
What's going on? Y'all are going to jail! Period!
And like I said, anything by Lifetime usually is not going to be worth the film that it's filmed on. And I do feel like that movie was to help build this narrative for her, ultimately for white people to come in and potentially snatch her millions and the money she's made from her legacy away from her coffers and redirect it elsewhere that benefits them versus her children, such as Kevin Jr., and, her relevant states.
I don't like like this. No, I don't.
Don't cry.
You better talk to her before I do, because I'm hurting feelings. That's up.
I am disgusted.
I don't believe that Wendy Williams is currently at the level of incapacitation that her conservator currently claims. I do feel like that it's an abuse of power, and I do feel like that these people are definitely trying to off her, using as less of her own money as possible in order to have as much money left over after she passes for them to then enjoy and do what they see fit.
This is crazy.
There were some things in the interview that she had said that I really just did not like and really made me feel some type of way. She had mentioned that she only had $15. She did mention, that her Chanels are with her, but you only have $15.
What?
It sounds like that $15 literally might just be like pocket change for her to be able to go to the vending machines that might be outside of her room to get like a bag of chips, but not a humidifier or like basic things, just reading glasses or something like that. She would have to call somebody and ask them, and then they have the ability to tell her no, that you don't need these items.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Does sound like that with a lot of this is breaking her down, stripping her of her autonomy, really stripping her down physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, as much as they can. So when she did say that she only had $15 in her Chanel purse, DJ Charlamagne, they was, kind of like taking it lighthearted, and, they was kind of giggling and stuff, like she was cracking a joke, but she was not laughing, and I don't think that she was joking, because I'm pretty sure she was dead ass.
Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping. What is up, man?
That it's sick because she doesn't have access to her funds. They're diminishing her to have this low maintenance lifestyle when historically Wendy Williams has been a high maintenance person. And on TV, you have to have a glam squad. I'm sure she had nails, makeup, wigs, and truth be told, that stuff does cost money, but truth be even more told, she probably can afford stuff like that. Another thing that she said was that her phone only allows her to call out. She says she doesn't even know what type of phone she has.
What?
I'm assuming that she has like a ladybug to where, like I said, they're limited communications. to where she might not even be able to save numbers. Like, she better hope that she's able to kind of know the digits of people she want to call by heart to be able to dial out, because yet again, if she misses the call or they miss the call, they aren't even able to call her back. When it comes to distractions like TikTok and being on Twitter, to find things to keep her brain busy and, you know, keep those cognitive abilities and those motor skills working and things like that, you have to use them. And so if you're not even able to, like, you know, access the internet or get on your social medias and things like that, that's also isolating you from the world. Wendy Williams has been open and talking about her having Graves' disease. She was trying to tell people that she wanted to go to the doctor for her thyroids, and they were basically telling her, like, no, you don't need to go to the doctor for your thyroid because the thyroid medication that we have for you is perfect.
What do you mean by that?
And that's obviously not true. Wendy, there's this barrier to where anything that she wants to do, she has to call this conservator and get their permission. And it sounds like not only do they have the power, all they've been saying is no.
This is crazy.
At this point, she could, as far as we know, have like one of those government phones that they get to like low income people. And that could be another way that those people are trying to save money.
What's going on? Y'all are going to jail! Period!
She also brought up the fact that they had recently took away her twin cats. She had 2 cats that she was using, I'm assuming, for, you know, emotional support, companionship, and they even took those away from her. As a proud cat owner, I have 2 cats, Lucy and Macy. I wouldn't know what to do if somebody just came and took my cats and I literally couldn't do anything about it. It honestly sounds like a lot of emotional torture, sounds like emotional abuse. It sounds like a lot of things to where what is going on and how did we even manage to get here? And then the answer is the healthcare system. I am glad that this conversation is being had and light is being shown on this type of situation, because a lot of conservatorships do exist. Wendy even said herself that there are over 25,000 conservatorships just in New York State alone. I was flabbergasted because I didn't know that conservatorships were that common, or I thought conservatorships, if anything, were extremely rare to where there's maybe 25,000 across the whole country, not 25,000, you know, per that state. No idea on how many people are going through situations like this that don't have any type of autonomy because they've been labeled crazy or have dementia or things of that nature, even though they are of sound mind. Everything that they worked for, all the stuff that they've done, like I said, they've just been diminished to a crazy person that can't read or write or think for themselves. Especially when there's so many benefits for older people to have animals, and such as, you know, better cognitive functions, companionship, increased social interaction, and things like that. It seems like that they're basically keeping her locked up, 4 walls. She said all she does is look out the window all day, no contact, can't even have a pet. It sounds like 3 meals a day in a hot cot, a luxury prison similar to a medical institution, a mental institution. And it was also very heartbreaking to see her get worked up about the fact that she wants to go to Miami later this month to see and celebrate her father's birthday, who's turning 94 years old. And they're saying that the conservator is basically playing around with them. They're pretty much, it's looking like that they're not gonna allow that. And it was very sad to hear Wendy break down, just because, damn, they won't even let you go see your dad, who clearly at 94 could be going at any day. It sounds like that they are very heartless, ruthless, and because we live in a capitalist society, I would not be surprised that they would only be worried about the money. I feel like that Wendy was very brave to do this. Towards the end of the interview, Denise was saying that she doesn't know what the repercussions of this is going to be. They can, like, with the power of the conservatorship, the guardianship, they can move Wendy without telling anybody, to where now nobody knows where Wendy's located. They could, like I said, take away the phone. They could restrict even further access on, you know, the little that she does have.
What?
Yeah.
My life is like up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Alex, do you think that there'll be some type of retaliation from the Guardian because of this, you know, maybe this phone call, or because of Wow.
We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my aunt, even with her wanting to come on, we talked about all scenarios. I said, you know, do this. You ready for what's on the other side? And as she said, I have to do this. There's nothing else I could do at this point. She's prepared for the fact that her phone might be taken away.
What if they take my phone? I won't be able to talk to anybody.
Yeah. And, you know, you all, what you're hearing now, this is a few-minute clip of what we've been dealing with for the last several months and the last 2-3 years.
Wow.
Like, what the hell?
Like, she can get moved and we may not even know where she is.
Wow.
That was the
I'm not really sure, how slippery that slope gets, but I do think that it took a lot for her to get up here today and really say her 1-2. Just getting something like this set up in order to be able to get on this national stage. I was watching this with one of my friends, and she actually had said that this reminds her a lot of a movie that's on Netflix that's titled I Care a Lot, but it deals with two white women, like an older woman and a younger white woman that is also trying to kind of creep in and under the guise of caring and under the guise of this conservatorship, trying to, take this woman's assets into her belongings. And so looking at that trailer, I definitely need to go ahead and watch that movie because it sounds like it's gonna be good, but sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. And so again, it's really an unfortunate situation because Wendy Williams has a span radio and TV career lasting over 3 decades and amassed millions of fans, millions of dollars with drama, only to be in a battle where somebody unrelated to her, a white woman, is trying to force her into a 360 conservator-esque deal where she's being locked away in a room to wither away using as little of her own money as possible. So, like I said, she's using her own money for this torture until she dies, so whoever's in charge of it can do with that money as they see fit.
The sad part, you're not going to jail. You're going to prison.
It's disgusting. Sabrina, disgusting. I do feel like that the same way that we was out here screaming free Britney, we need to scream free Wendy.
Leave Britney alone!
Regardless of what people say about her, Wendy Williams does not deserve this in the later years of her life, especially with what she was able to amass. I think that it makes the most sense for one of her family members, such as that niece, to be the conservator, or somebody that, or if anything, are able to make like high ticket purchase items like buying a house and things of that nature. But it shouldn't be to where if Wendy Williams only has access to $15, can't receive phone calls, and is seemingly under 24/7 monitoring surveillance.
This is crazy.
With that being said, y'all, I don't believe that Wendy Williams is going to be coming back to our screens anytime soon. I know a lot of people were in the hopes of, maybe we'll get like a podcast. But at this point, I'm honestly just wishing Wendy to be able to get her autonomy back, and then just from there, just kind of coast off real nice and easy. She should be able to, with the amount of work that she's put in over these years. And so with that being said, y'all, I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.